Okay, good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to join in today for our release of our latest version of PrebuiltML X, or ESTMA, as the case may be for some of you. Just a reminder that this is about 4.13.1.3490, or 91 potentially, either one of those versions. So this is to release out the new feature that we're excited to get out into the field, and that is the cloud storage feature. So that's what we're going to be talking about and reviewing today. But just as we get started, just want to point out a couple things in your controls for the webinar. You should have a field for a chat section, which I just chatted something into that box. It might be flashing orange or something down near the bottom of your screen. You can feel free to open that. So if you have questions that come along the way, we can try to answer those, or if nothing else, we can follow up with you after the fact as well. And then just another thing is, as we get into this, is in making use of the cloud storage feature, that's going to be done through the new Hub tool. Well, it's maybe not as new anymore as what it used to be, but the newer Hub feature. And a couple of notes on that point. First, on the one hand, you don't have to use all of the features of Hub. So if you're thinking, well, I don't want to have to use, do all the different stuff related to project management and things that Hub might offer to me, you don't necessarily have to get into all of the depths of everything that Hub can do for you. If you really are just interested in the project cloud storage feature for storing your projects, then you can use Hub in a pretty simple method to be able to accomplish that. So don't let that deter you from giving the cloud storage a try. And then the second thing is if you're just in general not familiar with Hub and just want to know more about it, that's not going to be the focus of today's discussion. But we do have a couple of webinars coming up, one that is on the 17th, so tomorrow, December 17th, and I'm putting some information about these into that chat section if you want to find that chat panel. There links to register for that webinar, so one on the 17th, and then also there is one on the 21st of December, and these are going to be more just broader overviews of how to make use of the Hub tool. What are some of the things that it allows you to accomplish? So if you're looking for more information like that, then I encourage you to sign up for those, or better yet, even invite some other people from your organization to be a part of that as well. So with that said, I'm just going to hop in here now to more focused on how do you use Hub, how do you use this new cloud storage feature that we are rolling out here. So if you don't have an account, then you might be seeing a screen like this on your Hub screen. So just a simple welcome screen. You can sign up for one. Really easy process to do that. But if you do have an account, then you can log in. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'll go ahead and log in. So here is my, here's my Hub account. And here just really briefly on the left-hand side, here's a list of all of my projects. Of course, you can filter those, you can sort those different ways of how you prefer. But here's the list of projects as a general statement. For example, I can click on Liana's library and just see kind of a thumbnail of what's going on there. But then on the right-hand side of the screen is all the details about it. So that includes the information such as project name, the client, receive date, and so on. And then files that might be associated with that project, as well as chats. Basically an exchange of information that you can use the phone app and so on to communicate with salespeople and other people in your organization. So that's just a quick overview of where stuff is at here if you're not familiar. But to make use of the features is once you're in Hub, you'll just come up here to the plus button, click on the create project, is what that's for, and we'll give this a name. We'll just call this Cloud Storage 101. And a salesperson, we could pick no salesperson. Again, if you're just trying to be really minimalist and just want to use cloud storage, you could just choose no salesperson and not pay attention to most of this. But I'm going to pick my salesperson in this case. I'll click create, and just that quickly, there's that project. Okay, so now that we've got our cloud storage project 101 in place, we'll just go ahead and click the start project button to get going with it. This is going to bring MLX or Estima, as the case may be for you, to the foreground, and it's going to allow you to get into that job. Now, for some of you, because I know we have some users out there who just been using our software for quite some time before the day when we had the start project window. So just as a quick side note, that if you're not familiar with the start project window that you're seeing right here, this is not something that's really related to Hub at all. This is something that we rolled out a couple of years ago, and I encourage you to make use of it. It just speeds up that whole process of copying a template file, renaming folders and all that. It just consolidates it all and kind of does it for you in the background. So with this new project feature, cloud storage feature though, what you can do is you can come here to this start project and you'll have the option here to check this box. By default, it's probably off for you like this, where you can still choose a local save location, and you could choose to still use it this way if you want. But by checking this box, you're now saying, I want this job to be stored in the cloud. So I'm going to set that box. I'm just going to use the simple template here. I could already pull in my plan images and select those. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to leave it blank for this moment. So once I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Start Project button. And that's going to go through that process that I was just referencing there, where it's going to find that template file, make a copy of it, rename those things, and then since this is going to be a cloud storage job, it's putting all those files in the right location so they can be uploaded to the cloud. And so you can see there, it finishes up and the job is open. Now at this point, the job has been saved to the cloud in its current state. And I can go in here and I can operate like you would normally expect. I can, come to the list, I can make an entry, add some more information, I could add pages and so on. But I'm come up here, I'm going to do File and Save. And now once we've done this, let's jump back over to our Hub view right here. So I'm going to come back to Hub. So here's that, again, here's our project list. Here's the Cloud Storage 101 project that we worked on. For those of you who are familiar with Hub and have already been using it, if we click on the Files tab, you're going to see there's something new here, and that is, since this is a cloud stored job, the PEDB file, that project file, is now displayed here in that Files area. And also, like with other files that you can post, the output files, you can come on the ... button, and you can come to View File History, or the file versions. If I click on it here, you can see that we have two versions. And the reason for that is because it was saved initially when we first created that cloud save job. So that's the first entry that you see there. And then when we made that additional change and then saved the project, then we got an additional version. So this introduces a whole nother advantage to using the cloud storage feature, is you have a pretty comprehensive list of versioning as you do your different saves. So if you ever needed to revert back a couple of saves, maybe you went a direction with a project that you just didn't really want to, pretty easy to go back, make a different version, the current version, set that back and reopen it and go on from there. So version history is available, and those will stay around for about 2 weeks. As far as in the current program, so you have plenty of time to access those previous versions and work with them. But now I'm going to come back over here. Let's maybe make one more change here. Or, well, no, let's leave it that way. I'm going to go ahead and close the project at this point. So we haven't made any more changes. It's going to let me close it. So I'm going to come back here to my files area, and there's a couple ways that you can reopen your existing jobs that you've already worked on. I'm going to come back to, so again, I'm in Hub. Here's the Cloud Storage 101. Come back to the files. Here's that PDB file. And I'm just going to double click on it to open it. So very similar to how you would double click on any other file in your Windows Explorer area. Just double click on it. It's going to go through that. And it's going to open MLX in the background and then pull all those files in and open the thing up. So we'll just give it a moment to finish. So there we go. So we've opened it up. And if I was to come to the list, I think we did that in the main floor, there's those floor joists. So it can see it's the latest version that we worked on. In a similar fashion, I'm going to come, maybe I'll come to the general tab and make another change here, just to the notes section. This is a new note. Okay, so we'll do that and we'll hit File and Save. So we'll save that and then we'll close the job. And when we do, we can come back over here, check our version history. And again, just kind of pointing out that we are saving, uploading these things to the cloud. Now, one thing it's a good place here to point out is that as you work on your projects, you're going to want to keep Prebuilt ML Hub opened in the background. You can have it minimized. That's not a problem at all. But keeping it open, because that is actually what is directing all that web traffic up and down. And so one of the benefits of that, of how we've structured the program, is working with the PrebuiltML software or with Estima, you really should not see any kind of significant hit, a performance hit, when you are using a cloud saved job, because all that stuff is sort of saved, if you will, temporarily in a local sense, and Hub on the back side is then managing those up and down downloads, uploads of your files for you, and not getting in your way as you continue to work on the project. So you shouldn't see any extensive save times as you work on your jobs. You should just be able to have those the save times that you would normally expect as you work through your project. One other way to access your old or your more recent files. So if you have a job that you've been working on more recently, you could go to Hub like I just showed you, or you actually can come here to the files recent list, and any of the jobs that you've worked on recently, including your cloud store jobs, will be listed there. And you can see that we have now added in this release the cloud icon indicating which ones are cloud stored versus like just the file icon right there, the folder, that would be an indication that that job was saved in the local files. So I can come to Cloud Storage 101. I'll click on that. It's my recents file. And again, it's going to go through, get the latest version of that file that was saved. We'll let that finish opening. And you can see here's that reference that the last time we saved this, we added in that this is a new note. So we've got that latest version that's being opened. Now, one other path that is here, and this isn't maybe the normal path to take with it, but it certainly is one that is another option for you if you, when it comes to getting a file stored up in the cloud, is if you have a job that was already started locally. So you already started the project and then later you decided, you know what, I want to store this up in the cloud instead of keeping this local copy off to the side. I want to be able to access this and share it with my team. So there is a path to do that. And let's come up here and I'm going to add a new project up here. So you're still going to need a project in Hub to associate that with. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call this cloud storage, how about 102? And we'll just use no salesperson this time. Click create. So now we've got this project. Now, what we aren't going to do is we're not going to come and start the project because we're trying to basically integrate with something that already exists. So I'm going to open MLX here, and I'm going to open a job that I already started recently, and I'll actually go to this locally saved MLX demo. You can see that's here. I could have double clicked on this if I wanted to open it, but it doesn't necessarily matter how you got here, but we're just going to get this file open. So this is a job that we've already started on, we've already worked on, and you can see in plan pages, we've got page images, we've got stuff drawn, and we want to make this and turn this into a cloud saved job. So to do that, I'm going to come up to the tools menu and go to Hub Project Link. Now, for those of you who are Hub users, you'll know that this is not, this specific area, it really isn't new. This has always been here as a way to connect things to Hub. But now within this window, we've added this additional checkbox here to be able to turn a project that you're linking to Hub into a cloud saved job. So the way I would do this, I'm going to click on the drop-down menu. I'm going to find the available projects there that are ready to start. So I'm going to pick that Cloud Storage 102 project. And then in this case, since I want it to be cloud stored, I'll check the box and then I'll click link. And what it's going to do is it's going to transition this project now, those specific job files, and it's going to copy them over and put them as a web cloud stored job. And so now as you work on it, you can see the Hub link is here. And if I was to go back and look at tools and the Hub project link, you can see that is checked. So another reminder to us that this project is saved in the cloud. And then if we were to come over here to our Hub project list here in Cloud Storage 102, click on the files and there's the PDB because it's now been stored in the cloud. And if I was going to access it further, then I would just need to either use it from the recents menu, that cloud, the one with the cloud icon, or I would come here to the files area and double click to open it. If you're looking at it and you're saying, well, that's nice, there's the project file, where are the image files? Did we lose those in the process of transferring this? And the answer is no. And that's, we simply, for the same reason that they're just sort of sitting in the background on your local machine and we don't necessarily show them to you anywhere in the program, it's kind of the same thing here. We're showing you the PDB file, the project file that you can double click on open. But all of those image files that were associated with that plan and project, they are stored in the cloud in the background, and then would be downloaded to your local machine as you choose to use that file. And so then finally, how do you use this with other people, you know, in order to share that project around, or to other team members? So for those of you who are Hub users, you know, you can come up here and come and check out your account area. I'm going to do that. And then there's the team tab here. Now, if you're just new setting up an account, you can choose to invite, you'll have opportunities to invite other people as you go through that process, but you don't have to right away. You could just experiment on your own, and then you can come in here later and choose to fold other people into your team that you would want to be able to share projects with. So you can choose to add and invite new users, and they would be able to set up their account as a part of your team, or, you know, included in your team. And there's different roles that are available. I won't go into all those now, but things like estimator, salesperson, external contact, managers. And by choosing different roles, they have visibility to different things, you know, whether they see only their projects, whether they see all the projects, what they can actually do in the system. So, and again, I encourage you to sign up for those webinars if you'd like some more information how the broader scope of how Hub can work. So anybody who then has access to your team and the permissions you've given them, then they can come into these different project lists and they would be able to go to those files. And even if they didn't start the project themselves, they would be able to have access to that and open it on their local machine. So that brings us to kind of the quick run through of how to make use of cloud storage. And absolutely, if you have any questions about how to use it, or definitely feedback about how it could be better, please let us know. And that's the other thing I'm going to point out here. We've also added up in PrebuiltML Hub in this latest release, there's this feedback button. So if you're just making use of Hub and you want to just give us some input about what your feelings are about it in general, or maybe a specific feature, and then give us some information about what you like or don't like about a particular feature, that would be helpful to us. We'll take that feedback back in and look to see how we can implement things and make the software better for everybody as a whole moving forward. I'll remind you again about those webinars that are coming up, one tomorrow, one next week. Again, in that chat area, there's those links. So encourage you to register for those, or invite somebody from your team that you want to learn about it together, or a manager of how it could be useful to you as you head into the coming year, into the next busy season. So, and I know for some of you, you haven't necessarily slowed down yet, but if you have some time here as things come to the year end, encourage you to see what tools could be useful to you in the coming year. Thanks again for joining us today, and you have a good afternoon yet.